Good afternoon and welcome to the Ōtorohanga Community Board meeting. Oh, the 1st of July. What's the date? And can I invite Pete to please do our opening prayer?
Favourite authors of yesteryear, G.K. Chesterton wrote, "Do not remove a fence until you know why it was put up in the first place." In the matter of reforming things as distinct from deforming them, there is one plain and simple principle, a principle which would probably be called a paradox. There exists in such a case a certain institution or law, let us say for the sake of simplicity, a fence or a gate across the road. The more modern type of reformer goes gaily up to it and says, "I don't see the use of this, let's just clear it away." Which the more intelligent type of reformer will do well to answer, "If you don't see the use of it, I certainly won't let you clear it away. Go away and think. And then when you can come back and tell me what, and then when you come back and tell me that you do see the use of it, I may allow you to destroy it." In other words, when we're passing laws and policies and procedures, before we go chucking out any of the old stuff, let's make sure we know why it's put in place in the first place.
Thanks, Pete. And we've got no apologies. We've got no one in the public forum, and to the best of my knowledge, we have no late items. Does anyone have a conflict of interest to declare? No. So we move on to confirmation of the minutes of the 4th of June. I would take them as read. Can I have a mover and seconder, please? Okay, and Kate. Is there any items out of that have arisen? Is everyone happy with them? Yeah, myself. So then we'll move on to our one and only decision report. Item number 30, policy updates, trading in public spaces, places, and compliance and enforcement. And I'll hand it over to Tony.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe this is an informational report, so no decisions of the community board. So the background is, and it's all in the report, I'll take it through, but just very briefly, 2 policies which have come to our attention that we need to prepare. So one is around trading in public places. We're having occasional requests for people to trade in public places. And what triggered this is we had one specific request from an operator to trade in multiple places, which caused us to think we don't actually have any policy around that. So we developed that, and the other one was around compliance and enforcement. Similarly, we have been dealing with over the last 12 months longer, compliance and enforcement complaints, I guess, that are coming through in an ad hoc way. While we kind of understand the approach that we've got, we don't have anything written down. So we thought it'd be a good idea to put these both into corporate policies, so they are operational policies, to direct staff and guide staff and also customers what our responsibility on these things. So just very briefly, paragraph 4.4, trade in public places. I just wanted to reference the trade competition. So under the Commerce Act and the Resource Management Act, councils do have restrictions on business, so that we're not meant to contain or constrain the free market. And so that's why we're not looking at this policy to control trade competition. So it's really a first and first comes to basis. Under 4.5, I want to mention that while we've got the fee schedule in, there is provision for staff to waive fees for community events or community activities, and I can see that being by negotiation. It's something that we do quite frequently, or charitable events and activities as well. Under the compliance enforcement policy, so we've tried to align this with what we understand council's current approaches, which is what I've termed light touch. So that's partly around us not having, I guess, being a small council, not having dedicated staff or with time or resources to go out and hunt for non-compliances, but also the principle around education first, information first, relationship building first, and then we've got the regulatory tools that back up. So that's really all I wanted to say. I'll take the report as read and happy to take the questions around policies.
Awesome. I'll open the floor. So thank you. Ask some questions. Steve?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. Tony, thanks for that report. It's very thorough. The trading in public places, it was good to see that you've got the objectionable offensive note in there about the, we discussed this earlier on in another, it was first brought up, I think, so. The question I wanted to ask, so if somebody applies for a license and it's rejected, is council obligated to have a appeals policy where they, somebody, or type of framework where that person can appeal the objection? So is there something that's, does that need to be in there, or are we bound to have it in there, or?
Yeah, so that's a good question. So my understanding of the legislation is that we can issue license to occupy in permits anyway. I don't believe there are any appeal or objection rights under that legislation, so we haven't included that in the policy. It's not something that I've seen in other policies around the right to appeal or object. I guess if someone disagrees, then there's always a judicial review process. If they, that avenue is always open to them. And they could also approach elected members or the CE to say, hey, look, we'll have this issue from the start. We disagree with it, can you have a look at it? So there's informal ways. There is a statutory review to the High Court through judicial review, which we really haven't likely. I guess that's why we didn't think it also needs to get that.
Yeah, well, I suppose when you look at it, it's you've stated here, it's something that's not coming up very often, these sorts of things. I suppose that have its policy in place, but I'm just not sure whether there was an avenue for appeal framework. Obviously, as you said, there are other ways around it. So,
and I guess what we do is start with work with applicants, and we would let them know what we would need to get a successful bid. Then we're going to be the really extreme outliers where they don't agree, or they have interviewed conditions where they don't pay up for. So there probably be good reasons for it to be quite rare.
I just want to think, I suppose the authorised officers, you've got the you and Mark, I would assume, if it falls into either of your so whatever the application is for, I suppose it's you got the final say.
So Mark is principal group manager of Ōtorohanga as well. Mark is the principal as it relates to the roads and pursuits, which comes under his group. On alternative, if Mark's unavailable for it's that would be obvious. But really it comes under Mark's group.
It's awesome, thanks. So
Does anyone else have any questions? Microphone. Okay.
Yeah, I have a couple. So this is with the trading events, public places and policy. On 2.2, policy doesn't cover local trading on council-owned property and private land. What does that mean?
So, yeah, I understand what you're saying there. So A could be read in two ways. So the intention there was it's not a reserve or it's not a public space. So roads, yeah, I guess they're technically council owned, but like where there's some property at the private site that's owned by the council use for a different purpose, it's not intended to cover this. We've got other mechanisms of doing that, like the leases. But that might be something we need to look at so we can understand that.
Yeah, Tony, I had that as well. Just confirming with the public, they know what, because to them, council owns everything, even though they're reserves or
Yeah.
they don't know exactly what a public space is. That's not a part of a lease.
Thanks.
And then I just wanted to, so it doesn't cover state highway permits. Is council notified?
On state highway.
Yeah.
I'm not aware. Since my time here, I've not been notified anything. Yeah, not aware of this. Yes, yes, although I guess as the road controlling authority, we wouldn't have any involvement in that, so I guess it'd be nice to be informed. But it's really NTTA's responsibility with the nation to make this happen.
6.4. Is there a requirement as part of the application that written approval from the civil holding up such stuff? Do they have to supply council with written notification?
No, we haven't included in here any requirement for written approval. It's a courtesy thing to talk to shop owners and get their agreement. If the shop owner says no, then the way this would work is because it's a public space. Theoretically, anyone can set up there. They don't really need a written approval except from the council who lives in that space. And you can imagine, written approvals take us down quite a challenging space where there might be some shop owners for reasons that aren't related to the event might refuse to grant approval, and then we're into a whole different sort of process around that.
It's more clarification to make us get an understanding of the difference with mobile and travel shops and mobile food services.
That is
Well, do you know what information? So effectively on that, limits not required for this stop and go. So the first truck that comes around. They can help you on it. Stop it.
Yeah, that's where the policy is set out, and also Mr. Whitby's number's up for that as well. Yeah.
I think Mr. Whitby on my list.
Just going back to the outer spider cap, like with that, say Mr. Whitley fish shop or whatever, it does say the activity does not trade in more than 5 separate locations within a consecutive 48-hour period. So how does that work with someone like Mr. Whippy that stops 20 times?
So I guess it's the starting point. We to a certain extent have borrowed the information here from other councils, so it's based on someone else who's been through small issues before. It's probably fair to say that some of this information is probably related to bigger councils that have bigger issues than us. We've always got the ability to review that, but I guess if you're thinking that that's too conservative, then that's something that you might want to consider recommending through to council when they endorse this. We've got no real hard evidence that that's the right level of limitation we're putting on there. It's really having to go at something to start with. Yeah, we've got that discretion as well.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I know you've got the discretion, that's cool, but sometimes that can blur the lines too. With something like, yeah. Anyway, Kat, you have more to say.
And then I had on there, this is coming down to the explanations. So island reserve in the domain, they're not managed by council. So when they have their own events, they won't need to apply for a council permit, then that's still in the trading company.
That's correct. It's not managed, if it's not administered or owned by council. This wouldn't apply.
But owned, so it is owned by council.
So then we control it via lease. If it's a council parcel it's owned by us, we can control that through our lease agreement, and we don't need to rely on this. This is really for public spaces that don't have any, lease agreements or any private use of space.
So the domain does have a lease agreement though, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
Soccer club it does. They pay a lease. So then they wouldn't need to apply for it.
Well, if you had operators who wanted to operate these sort of activities on the domain, which has a lease agreement, then council will probably need to check the lease agreement to see what that allows for.
So hence lies before going back right nearly to the beginning, one of the first ones, where we need to, it's been blurred between what's been leased and what's reserved and what's public. Not, even though it's council owned and things like that, because you've got public spaces that are also leased at the same time.
Yeah, and we would figure that out. If an application came in, we'd first look at the location and understand whether it's public domain without a lease or without private use, I suppose, or if it's a property that has a lease on it for exclusive use. Yeah, that would be the two elements.
Through you, Chair, even with lease agreements, it's not exclusive use. Like the soccer club might have a lease agreement, but that doesn't mean I can't walk across the domain. So, yeah, I just think it's probably conditions.
I think
and-
that's the question,
Yeah.
though, because it is a public space. So if soccer has an event, do they need to apply for that coffee cart to be at their event on their grounds, on public grounds that they lease? That's the question, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was thinking of them to say, they're doing that on the main land, which is council owned but managed. This is how the first order of
Yes.
that will like.
I would say yes, because we don't hold the lease. I don't know.
Excellent. So there might just need to be a bit more clarification around that for, you know. Yeah, there was also under general information, street performers and busking, number 15. And you said must comply with the code, well, not you, sorry, the council's got must comply with the code of conduct for street performers. What's the code of conduct? Oh, yeah. Yep, and is it on a basic level, is it how they present themselves and do things in public, is that, would that be basically it? Thank you.
Yeah, I'll just let Steve go. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, oh, yeah, sorry,
So I've got a couple too.
okay, well, this won't be long. The review dates are 2 years, so if, for example, or it's highly unlikely as it is, we run into any issues this summer, and a myriad of issues, I would think. Would you bring that review date forward if you were finding, you know, as you said, this is sort of new document that you've sort of pieced together from other councils, and there'd be certain parts of it that may not suit us, or others that need to be added at the time. So would you just hold out for the 2 years and then bring them in, or do you think you could do a review prior to that? Yeah. Yeah, no, it's, thank you. Thanks.
Yeah, through you, the chair, I just think there was a couple of probably clarifications we need to make. There was quite a few things said around leases and clubs having leases of domains. I don't know of a lease for the Ōtorohanga domain, and I don't know if Jared does either. So I just think if that's something you'd like us to clarify, because I'm pretty sure there's no leases on the Island Reserve either. That used to be governed under the Island Reserve Management.
Can I just interject there for a minute? Sorry, Mark. So I understand, does the domain, the soccer club pay a lease to you guys per year? Money? Not at all. Well, the netball club does, so I'm just interested as why, and has done for 40-something years with no lease.
Yeah, well, that's probably
Um,
another discussion.
That is, but I'm
I
just, that's
just
the
thought-
question we're just asking,
Yeah,
that's all.
I just
Sorry.
think there was
I
a few-
understood that soccer club have always paid a lease like the netball.
And that's why I was just saying, I think we probably need to clarify that, because I think there was a few statements said that may not have been, to everyone's knowledge. So that's why I say we come back to you on that, but I know the Island Reserve doesn't have leases to clubs, so rather than us saying things without actually knowing the facts, we can clarify that for you.
And going forward, that position's hopefully going to be filled soon, so Tanya's going to have someone to get a grip on all these leases. So, yeah, going forward, I hope it's, yeah, a fairer thing. Is that all you had, Matt? I've just got a couple of things. So 13 in general information goods and services up for hire. A permit is required to display goods or services for sale or hire in a public space. This activity includes businesses using the footpaths outside their premises to display goods. So how would that affect our current businesses in town that have fruit and veg outside on the footpath? Do they have to apply for a permit now? Okay. Okay. And then 15.2, I understand because you've obviously used other policies. I think maybe you need to take out the wording central city. 16, what did I have for 16? Any individuals, groups or organisation wanting to use public space. So when we have, say, RDA doing a bake sale, they have to apply for a permit? But they still have to come to council. Okay, no, that's cool. I know that I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, there's people that set up on the footpath and hand out pamphlets, so they're going to have to too. Yep. 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 No, that's cool. That's cool. I just want to have it in my head so I understand it when I'm asked. Oh, we've covered the coffee carts at sporting events. No, I think that's all from me. So just double check. No one else has anything else? No? Okay. So on my agenda, it says it's a decision report.
Yeah.
So option 1, do nothing. Option 2, prepare and implement policies as proposed. Option 3, prepare and implement bylaw for trading in public places only. But it's not like a recommendation, it's a discussion. Yep. Okay, so we don't recommend to council like we usually do with policies and stuff? No? Okay. Okay, no, that's cool. That's cool. So, yeah. We're not moving or seconding anything, but I mean, I suppose the general consensus would be prepare and implement policies as proposed, but it should say prepare and present to council, not up. But anyway, yep, no, that's all good. Thanks, Tony. Moving right along. Got no information reports, except I'm going to ask Matt or Jared about the submissions for the tree at the medical centre. Jared will come and speak to that. Thanks, Jared.
Through you, your chair. We've received all our submissions. As you know, the consultation period has closed. We're just collating all those now. We will bring a report back to the board in August with our recommendations on how to proceed from there, along with all the submissions for the board to review. Any questions?
Anyone have any questions? No. Okay, thanks, Jared, for the update. We've got no public excluded, board projects. I don't know if we really need to speak to them. I know that we're having a catch up with Jared this week about our fitness trail. And the dog park's just an ongoing thing at the moment, is it not, Joe? Yeah. So then next we have board update. Oh,
Sorry, through you, Chair.
sure.
Can I just ask, going back to other business, about the fund, discretionary fund, do we know if the Kiwi House Trust have received? Because my understanding at this stage, they haven't.
Okay, when,
Through you, chair.
Oh, sorry, am I too,
no,
too,
no,
Right,
that's
raising
okay.
it yet.
No, that's okay. I mean, we're coming up to our discretionary fund, but it's a new one. So, but, that's a fair question for now.
I just saw it after the dog park.
Yeah.
About the dog park.
Yeah. It was, in our last minutes and it was mentioned that they got it. So, yeah, well, we
Well,
approved
we
it.
gave it, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know? if we've
So
got
as
it?
far as I'm aware, it's been paid.
Thank you.
Easy peasy. Board member updates. Start with you, Kat. Nothing. Joe? Hey, no, no, nothing from anyone. Yeah, I don't believe that you've got nothing, but anyway. And now we're on to our community board discretionary fund, which is, topped up again. So that's something that we need to think about for the future. In our resolution register, let me find it. I think shall we leave the consultation period on there until it comes back to council about the tree? Community board. So 072 leave, 075, that has gone to council, so that could come off. It's recommended that it's removed. Do I need a mover and a seconder? Yep. Can I have a mover and a seconder? Yep, Stephen Pape. Okay, and before we close, has anyone else got anything that I might have missed? No? Okay, I might ask Pape to close with a prayer. Thanks.
Together.
Amen. And I declare the meeting closed. At 4:28. Thanks.